Well, this is going to be a brief philosophical lecture, and the title and the topic is going to be, is philosophy an endless playground of conceptual imagination? And what does this mean heuristically and hermeneutically? Now, one can say, well, what are the boundaries? What are the topological boundaries of what it means to philosophize? With any particular sub pocket slice of the omniverse, and I think that there is no easy question to say that what philosophy is and what philosophy isn't when it concerns itself with the specific relations between abstract thoughts across every possible world. And I also want to say that another topic today in this philosophical lecture is going to be what is perception according to Solipsism. All right. So now Solipsism says that it argues that in the realm of what we can perceive and what we can know and what we can believe, there's always a high degree ratio to devil's advocate ratio that's argued that favor that only we can ever really be certain, and not only in a metaphysical sense, but a mathematical probability sense, that we can only ever know our own existence, but the existence of the self and the other, such as in Lacanian terms, is kind of eternally numinally unknowable. And I think also that the notion of what it means to have freedom. Now, does free will exist is one of those perennial kind of common philosophy questions. Well, I think that free will, if you really analyze it with like a nanoscope, the brain and the parts of the brain that lead to physical actions, such as the hippocampus, cerebellum, analyzing the mathematical geometrical structures and seeing if there's a predeterminate qubit of a Planck clock or a non-deterministic qubit of a Planck clock. So I think that philosophy might be conceptual, but it also is non-conceptual in the sense that it tries to quantify the unquantifiable and designate the undefined, the undescriptivized, and there is no, many people and lay people just say, well, philosophy is just the love of wisdom. Well, what is wisdom? Is wisdom just acquired experimental knowledge in the Bertrand Russellian sense, or can experiential knowledge completely coexist with solipsism? So I think that this whole notion of philosophy as a conceptual playground, while it is very, I suppose not the most creatively visionary aphorism, it kind of sums up a very John Dewey, kind of normative, but also objectively empirical argument that conceptuality of imagination is essential to even grasping beyond just, rehearsing a philosophical concept into improvising it. And I also want to say that perception itself, we don't know if perception truly exists. I mean, we might simply, such as the consciousness nihilists like Daniel Dennett and I suppose some I don't know, exotic Hindu kind of Buddhist, Confucian, Eastern analogs, and now I think that the question of perception, if it exists across all possible worlds as merely a construct of solipsism or a construct of mind-independent reality, again depends on the transworld identity in a Kripkensteinian sense and reference of what slice of Minkowskian reference time do you inhabit, and which kind of pole you then therefore receive the Hegelian bipolarized sense. So I hope this brief lecture, nonetheless open-minded lecture, invited you to the possibility that in the seeds and dendrites and dentalium and anchorites that bow and burrow the redwood's life in the metaphysical sense, one must also be careful to use kind of a semantic clarity rather than a semantic opacity. And this is kind of a quick ad lib. It's not really an ad lib, it's more a commentary. But I also think that emojis, these low effort, kind of sloppy texts you frequently see bombarded, insinuated in our social media, saturated nowadays, really is semantic opacity at a kind of dystopic level. And we need to keep the slop down. So thank you so much, and I hope in this conclusion there is no strict conclusion, but it's simply to open the boxes, kind of boundless boundaries. And my argument, therefore, is that perception depends on whether it's solipsistic or non-solipsistic, depends on if the panpsychism, such as the mind or the brain, the reductive physical materialism component of panpsychism, translate across every possible world for a trans-world identity into the epiphenomenalism of the metaphysicalization of fictine, showing sublime reality, and also the incarnation of the etiology of all physicality and mental physicality duality that epiphenomenally produces perceptions at all. So thank you so much, and bye now.